What's up, guys? Welcome back to our channel. It's OJ Merge back with another video. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button and also make sure you cut on your notification bell so that you're notified every time we upload new content.
Yes.
But today, guys, the topic is going to be, what do you do when you want a baby or kids, plural, and he or she does not?
Very tough topic.
Very tough topic, but we're gonna dive into it. So, for starters, I would like to make a very important point. People choose to not have children for many different reasons, or people believe that they don't want to have children for many different reasons.
Okay.
So it's important to understand that first before you decide how you're going to move forward with the discussion with your partner. Because some people don't want kids because maybe, for example, mental illness runs in their family. Maybe mental illness runs in their families, and they have made a decision that I don't want to pass down any of these quirks. Okay. I'm crazy enough and my family crazy enough. I don't want to pass down any of these quirks to an offspring. If your person is deciding that they don't want children for that simple fact, well, there are ways around that. You know, for example, adoption, right? So it's really about finding out exactly what your person's reasons are for taking the stance that they're taking, so that you can decide if this is something y'all can work around or not. What are some other reasons why you think some people don't want to have kids?
I think some people are not prepared for kids and think that, you know, preparation will take so long, so in the meantime they just don't want. Growing up in the early stage of life, you know, a lot of people say they don't want kids, and then it changes.
It does change
over
for some
time.
people, but
So,
not for all people. So we have to address that, because it doesn't change for everybody.
I would say out of 100% of people that say they don't want to have kids, probably about 15% stick to that. Over time, with the sense of being lonely, over time with the sense of seeing kids, over time with the sense of accidental pregnancy, over time with certain other things, you know, then kids get involved. I think that some people think that, you know, they're just not parents. They're not in the frame of mind to be a parent, or they think, some people think they are not going to do a good job. Some people think the job as a parent is impossible to grasp, so they don't want any.
For the people who think that they're just not parent material, like, I don't want to have kids because I don't think I'll be a good parent. Well, what do you do in that case if you are dating someone that takes on that stance? Well, I would say this, you know, find out why they think they wouldn't make a good parent. If it's because they had a really tough upbringing and they're confident that they're going to repeat the cycle, you know, maybe they dealt with abuse in their childhood, and they're genuinely concerned that they will continue that legacy, then that's something you really need to ask yourself. Because if children are important to you and you're dating someone that does not believe in their ability to be a good parent, now's your time to really delve into why, and then ask yourself honestly, do you really want to, you know, procreate with somebody that's telling you straight up, look, I'm not going to be a good parent to your kid if we have one,
yes.
Right? So maybe heed that as a warning.
Yes.
And these are not easy conversations to have.
No, they're not.
You know?
No, they're not.
If you find out that you might have to end a relationship because your person does not think they're going to be a good parent, that's something that you're going to have to work through, because obviously it's going to be painful for you. You probably have some pretty strong emotional ties to this person, but that's definitely something to consider.
I would say the situation, to be honest with you, have you ever thought of it that if it's a half and half situation, it could be done?
Yeah,
if
definitely.
you want to have kids, and I don't want to have kids, if two people come together, one wants to have kids, one don't, it's easier to persuade the other person, well, this is why I want kid, and what do you think? Because I want kid, are we going to adopt, or, you know, do I go out and have kids, or whatever it is? A person will not let their partner step out of their relationship to go have a kid and decide and come back to it. But there's a lot of reasons why, you know, people don't want to have kids, or say to themselves that you know, I don't want children. And I said, as we outlined it, sometimes it's failure to think that they could do the job or be a parent. As you just outlined too, sometimes it's the upbringing and things that happen to them as kids that they don't want to pass that trauma on. Sometimes the person is in a financial state where they feel also like, I don't want kids because I can't take care of it.
So if it's a financial concern, if your man or woman is against having children because they just feel like kids are just too expensive, right? Well, there's room for compromise there. Maybe you guys can settle on 1 kid instead of 3, right? Meet somewhere in the middle, or 2 kids instead of 4. It's about knowing what you can afford and knowing what your support system looks like, because a lot of people, you know, just by having a strong support system, they're able to care for their kids without, you know, as heavy of a financial burden. To raise a child takes a village. So, you know, if your village is strong and solid, then that's a selling point that maybe you want to bring across to your skeptic partner.
You got people also that feels like, and this is a big one. Why I feel like this is a big one is because this is how a lot of people look at life. A lot of people don't want kids until they're married. And if marriage never comes, then they feel to themselves like the kids shouldn't be here as well. No. It's like this. To sit down and wait on somebody to propose to you and wanting your kids, it's crazy. You know, some people are into that thing by saying that I want a husband first before I have kids. So I don't want no kids unless I have a husband. Which is a tough thing. Do
men operate from that space as well? Some men not wanting to have kids until they find the right wife?
I think no. I would say no. I think it's really a female perspective of that nature.
Gotcha.
I think that comes from the female, you know, from females, you know, mostly. Because yes, it's not a bad thing to say, I need a husband first before I have kids. But at the same time, what if the husband doesn't come? What if the husband comes at 50 years old? Because one could keep going, one cuts off at a point. When it comes down to kids, there's a cutoff point where you can naturally have one. You can always adopt.
Right.
But it has a cutoff point at a certain time if you're gonna have one naturally. No, marriage can happen at any point. You can have, you know, you can be married at 50, 60, 70 years old. So one has a cutoff point, one don't.
Right. There's a prime time. There's a prime time to be reproductive.
Yes.
But as generally for marriage, you know, you can get married at any age. You can get married at any age. So yeah, definitely. What do you think about people who started out dating, right? And maybe passively had a discussion about children, and in the beginning it was like, yeah, you know, kids sound cool, and then 3-4 years down the line, you're ready to start having kids, and that person has changed their mind or decided that they don't want kids anymore.
Well, I would say sometimes that comes from that person seeing the other person and thinking, well, this is not a person that I would want to have my children. And that's a tough one as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes people neglect having kids by being with their partner and see how their partner operates and think, this is not the woman that I want to have my kids, or this is not the man that I want to have kids with.
Yeah. And let's talk about that a little bit, because you know, this is again another reason why your person may be saying that they don't want kids. It may not actually be a fact that they don't want kids. The hard pill to swallow could sometimes be that maybe they just don't see having kids with you. Exactly. So if you are in a relationship with someone and you're getting those type of vibes or that energy, it's definitely time for a conversation.
Yes.
You know, be blunt with the person and ask them, you know, what are some things that would concern you about me as a parent? You know, have a candid conversation. And listen with open ears. You may hear some things that are painful to hear.
Yes.
You may, hear some things that are hard to receive. But at the end of the day, it's all about transparency. And if you are going to move forward together, or if you're going to agree to part ways, it needs to be clear why and how to go about it.
Yes.
So with that information, you can take it as constructive criticism and you can make some adjustments, or you can decide that you two just may not be compatible in that area, and now it's your time to make a decision if you're going to stay in the relationship and not have kids, or if you're going to move on and make yourself available to somebody who does want to have children with you.
And somebody would ask, then why is that person sticking with that person if that's not the person that they want to have kids with? Are you me lover, you me want to be my only chick. Girl, give me your finger, me have to put a ring on it. Night nurse, me addicted to your nightly trick. Never get a loving like this, like this.